I'm Raymond Douglas, and welcome to my man cave. Well, rather toolshed, or my special place of reflection. The Inside Out Perspective takes a look at life's challenges and its effects and asks one simple question: what race are you running? Good morning and welcome to another episode of the Inside Out Perspective. And those of you joining us for the first time, I welcome you on this journey as we close my little mini-series on the Armour of God. And the final armour which Paul talks of is prayer. Now, I also do know that there are some people who don't think that the Armour of God includes prayer. But I think it's the essential part of it. I mean, just have a look at it from the aspect of a Roman soldier lining up, all neatly dressed in all his armor. He's got his breastplate and loincloth and shield and sword and helmet, and he's ready for battle. I promise you, he was sitting there in fear. And he was calling on the gods which he worshipped at those times for protection. I mean, just have a look at the devastation of the aftermath of any of those Roman battles or first century type battles. Hectic. I mean, I just think of my favorite movie, Braveheart. And man, the devastation after those battles. So you cannot honestly believe that prayer was not, or calling on some kind of supernatural power by the Roman soldiers were not part of his battle armor. And even so, prayer is the essential thing in a Christian's life. I mean, Jesus prayed daily, and we need to follow his example. So therefore, prayer needs to be part of our everyday life. So what does Paul actually say about prayer in Ephesians 6:18-19? Let me just read that last bit. Pray at all times, asking God for everything in line with the Holy Spirit's wishes. Plead with him, reminding him of your needs, and keep praying earnestly for Christians everywhere. Pray for me too, and ask that I boldly tell others about the Lord, and as I explain to them that his salvation is for the Gentiles too. Now, the key passage here for me, or the key words here for me, is when Paul says, let God remind God of your every need. And why I say that is, in the church scenario, or in any prayer platform you might be part of, or prayer group you might be part of, have a look at what happens. The general formula for prayer is praying for other people's needs, praying because they're sick, praying because they got a partner going to hospital, praying because someone might have died in the family, or praying just because a person's been persecuted. And I think essentially what's happening here is we're missing the true calling of prayer on a Christian's life. What I'm just saying is, I think and I firmly believe that the modern Christian church has forgotten about the true blessing which a prayer should have for people. And this is why I say so. Let's go and have a look at 1 Peter 2 verse 9. But you are not like that, for you have been chosen by God himself. You are priests of the King. You are holy and pure. You are God's very own. And all this so that you may show to others how God called you out of the darkness into the wonderful light. So you can show the world how God called you out of the darkness into the wonderful light. Now, Peter's referring here to Exodus 19, I think it is. Exodus 19:6. And this thing goes on further to the wonderful prayer blessing in Numbers 6:24-27. So Peter is saying here, we are a priestly nation and we're called to be priests. So what are the priest's function in terms of prayer? So let's have a look quickly at that prayer. But Before I do, I just had the thought of, on our daily lives, when you wash your clothes, what do? You separate the dark from the light. And why? So they don't get blended and mixed up. And this is the essence of what I'm trying to get to. Because if you have a look at the world as we know it today, it's a broken world, all with its own problems and own forms of destruction in our lives. I mean, just stand in a queue at your local shopping center and have a look around you. Have a look at the faces of the people. See who's actually radiating with happiness and joy and interacting with the wonderful world, created world God's given us. Very few people. Some of them look depressed, sad. You can see they're worried and they're troubled about the world events. Personally in their lives there could be problems. So just have a look at it from that aspect. And I have a look at it also from the aspect of our prison ministry, which we do. And you can talk to those gentlemen in the prison and you can have a look, see, they are there because of a broken family. Either the father figure is missing 90% of the time and sometimes the mother figure. So they're not having that priestly guidance in their life. And this is what the true essence of prayer is. Bringing that priestly blessing into people's lives. So let's see what Numbers 6:24 says. Numbers 6. May the Lord bless you and protect you, and may the Lord's face radiate with joy because of you, and may he be gracious to you and show his favor and give you peace. Listen to this. This is how Aaron and his sons called down my blessings upon the people of Israel, and I myself will personally bless them. Now, other translations say that this is how Aaron and the priests called down and passed the name of Yahweh onto the Israelites, and that is how Yahweh blesses them. You see, Peter says we are a priestly nation called to bless other people, to show them we've come out of the darkness into the light. And that's the essence of the blessing, or the blessing of prayer. I'm saying that if you pass the blessing in prayer across to a people, what are you actually activating? You're saying that each person needs to become spiritually strong. Okay? You're asking God to fill them with emotional joy. You asking them to have everything they need in life so they can be ordained by the divine nature of God in their calling. That is what a true blessing does. Yet what do we do in our daily prayer life? But we miss the true nature of what God's asked us to do. Bless the nation. Bless the people around us. Bless your children when they go out to school and when they come back. Bless your husband. Bless your wife. Bless the people around you in your area of influence. So how do we do that? So how do the Jews handle their tradition of blessing people? You see, they fully understand that from Genesis, God blessed us and said we are good. Lifted us up, acknowledged us who we are. And they take that as the essence. And their teaching, that blessing people makes them rise up from their area of difficulty into the divine calling which God has ordained you for. So how do they actually do this? For a woman, they pray God's blessing of Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. What? Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah? But let's have a look at that in its actual truth. Because Sarah, Rachel, Rebecca, and Leah just show the broken state of the female mind. Have a look at Sarah, for example. Poured off as the sister, while she was married to Abraham, to Pharaoh, almost got married to him. And then you have a look at, she's then can't produce a son, so Hagar comes into Abraham's bed, and then you got that conflict between Ishmael and Isaac. Have a look at that in terms of the female's understanding in today's world. Then have a look at Rebecca. Rebecca, great wife in the beginning, and then she started to be devious. And look what she did. She ordained the blessing of Abraham, taking it away from Esau, creating that strife, that deviousness. Then look at poor old Rachel. She does the work and is ordained by God through her hands of watering the camels. And then he works for 7 years so he can get her hand in marriage. And what does he do? He gets Leah, the sister. And what does he do? Leah is rejected. She is the unloved wife. Second choice versus unloved. These are all issues women deal with. So how does that become a blessing? Well, it becomes a blessing through Ruth, because that's what happens to Ruth. Look at Ruth. Naomi takes Ruth to Bethlehem. Her husbands died. Both their husbands have died, and they don't have anyone to look after them. And they work in their fields, and they're doing the best they can with their hands. And Boaz then inherits her through buying the land from Ruth. And he inherits her. But what does he inherit? He inherits a Moabite. But because of the Jewish tradition of looking after the widowed family, he takes her in to be a wife. So here comes the Moabite, or the Gentile, into the Jewish fold for the protection and the blessing. And what happens? She has Obed. Obed has a son called Jesse, and Jesse has a son called King David. Wow! How's that for a wonderful blessing? And look at it from the male perspective. What do males do? The Jewish males ask God's blessing of Ephraim and Mashiach. What? Those are Joseph's sons. They lived in a pagan world in Egypt. But living in a pagan world, they still rose up honoring Yahweh as their God. And what did that do? That broke the cycle of destruction in the family feuds before them. And all of a sudden, they are united within the family bond. So have a look at Isaac and Ishmael, that conflict. Have a look at it, Jacob and Esau, and Joseph with his brothers. And here you have the two sons of Joseph united in the family conflict. And that is the true blessing. When we are united in prayer under the Holy Spirit for our families first, and then for the people around us. So we can see the true blessing of prayer comes from the Jewish understanding of blessing, because the blessing enriches our lives and lifts us out of the hole we're in, and puts us onto a path of positiveness, radiating that light of Jesus in us and through us, and showing it to the world. And that's the essence of the true prayer I believe Paul is calling us to wear when we're wearing the armor of God.
Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, Yahweh. Hey ya, hey ya, Yahweh, Yahweh, yeah. Hey ya, Yahweh, Yahweh, yeah, yeah. יברכך אדוני וישמרך, יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה, יישא אדוני פניו אליך, וישם לך שלום. The Lord will bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and he will give you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and he will give you peace. Shalom, shalom, in Yeshua's name, shalom.